There's a town in Brazil where the beach goes dark before the day is over. Not from storms, not from the setting sun, but from shadows thrown by walls of glass and concrete that stretch nearly the entire coastline. The town is called Balneário Camboriú, and this small resort city is quietly outbuilding some of the most iconic skylines on Earth. Last year alone, Brazil completed more skyscrapers than the United States, but this one town with a population of only 150,000 built more towers than New York, Chicago, and Miami combined. Many of these skyscrapers sit empty a lot of the year, lights off, no signs of life, just multi-million-dollar residences bought through offshore companies. At first glance, it looks ambitious. Some people even refer to this region as the Dubai of South America. It's definitely one of those areas where the skyline has become the ultimate status symbol. The most exciting building in Balneario hasn't even been built yet, but it's in the planning process now, and it's going to be taller, flashier, and unlike anything Brazil has ever seen before. It's going to be called the Senna Building. It's being built to honor a legend race car driver, and this skyscraper will feature everything from shops and restaurants to luxury condos and an observatory. The story of this coastline is fascinating. The story of the Senna Building even more so. Today, let's talk about the timeline of how Brazil is about to be home to the tallest residential skyscraper in the world. To get our bearings on the location, Balneario is in southern Brazil. It's tucked between the Atlantic Ocean and a steep green ridge of hills. It's only about 20 square miles in total. Crammed onto this small footprint, though, much like you see in Manhattan, is a dense sea of towers. The city's skyline didn't happen overnight. In the 60s and 70s, Balneario was mostly a fishing village, a few locals, some second homes, definitely gorgeous beaches. But then at some point right around there came the tourist. By the 80s and 90s, middle-class Brazilians started buying vacation condos, developers followed, apartment buildings went up. But what made this area different was its super relaxed laws around zoning. There's basically no height restrictions, setbacks aren't as stringent, and the wildest part is that if you own the land and you had the permits, there's a loophole that lets you build basically as tall as you want. That loophole turned into a gold rush, and by the early 2000s, the city wasn't just building condos, it was building status symbols, towers with names, branding, and marketing designed to sell luxury, not just shelter. Fast forward to more recent years, in 2023, Brazil completed 36 buildings that were over 150 meters tall. That is the international benchmark for a skyscraper. And just for comparison, over that same year, there were 6 skyscrapers built in the United States. Of those 36 new skyscrapers, 26 were built in this one town. Camboriú was becoming one of the most vertically dense cities in the Western Hemisphere. Zooming in on one standout masterpiece that was built here is the Yachthouse by Pininfarina. This isn't your typical beachfront condo building. It is a record-breaking icon of the city, standing at 294 meters or 965 feet with 81 floors each. These twin towers are currently the tallest buildings in Brazil, and as you'd expect, these buildings are equipped with everything you'd ever need. We've got pools, spas, gym, recreation areas, direct access to the marina. Doesn't sound like a bad place to live. To build something this tall on the coastline, they had to use what's called the outrigger technique, basically a way to keep the whole thing from swaying in the wind. It took about 87,000 cubic meters of concrete and a crew of over 600 workers to pull it off. If Camboriú's skyline looks surreal now to you guys, it is nothing compared to what's coming. Enter one of the most anticipated skyscrapers of all time, the Senna Tower. Planned to rise 544 meters or 1,785 feet, the Senna Tower is set to become the tallest residential building in the world. That's taller than Central Park Tower in New York, taller than the Eiffel Tower, taller than almost anything that's not in Dubai or China. And the building is not going to be just tall. It's got a great backstory, great inspiration. It's going to be iconic. Named after Ayrton Senna, Brazil's greatest Formula One driver, a national icon whose death in 1994 left the entire country grieving, Ayrton's legacy was speed, ambition, elegance, determination, and now all of that is being packaged up and turned into a skyscraper. The project was originally called Triumph Tower, but in 2024, it was officially renamed Senna Tower with the blessing and direct involvement of Senna's family. His niece, Lelele Senna, helped design the tower and described it as a work of art of monumental proportions. She said it reflects Senna's spirit, pushing boundaries, defying limits, and rising above. It'll have 154 floors and 228 total units, including what they are calling 18 suspended mansions and 2 triplex penthouses, which will be priced at around 53 million US dollars. The top will feature a public rooftop observatory with a mass damper below it, followed by a lounge and event space. Those penthouses we just mentioned are next. There has never been anything like this building in this area, that's for sure. In fact, there really hasn't been anything like this in the world. And what's cool is even if you're not staying or living in the Senna Tower, the bottom floors will feature shops, leisure, and entertainment, all which will be open to the public. Backed by a company that's hard to pronounce, FG Empreendimentos, one of Brazil's most aggressive developers, along with retail billionaire Luciano Hang, the tower represents an investment of over $500 million. Construction of the Senna Tower is expected to start in late 2025 and finish sometime in the 2030s. It will be built on what looks like a tiny postage stamp sized lot. Now, as awesome as it is to have this long stretch of skyscrapers along the beach, there is one kind of massive drawback. Let's talk about the sunlight situation. Camboriú's skyline is so dense and the buildings are so close to the beach that the sun disappears behind them by mid-afternoon. In some areas, this is happening as early as 2:30 p.m. Tourists hate it, and local businesses are affected by this too. Restaurants and beach bars see revenue drop as the light fades so early. This became such a problem that in 2021, the city tried something wild. They expanded the beach. This was a big project involving pumping millions of cubic meters of sand, but it was a success. It stretched the beach from a width of 25 meters to 70 meters. That's 82 feet to 230 feet, so the sun then could reach farther before being blocked. And even though this idea seemed a bit crazy on the surface, it actually worked. The shadows now fall farther back, but the skyscrapers are still there, and some people have said that this fix will only last so long before needing to be rebuilt after waves and wind destroy the artificially expanded beach. Not to mention, more buildings are being built, like the Senna Tower, which means that this expensive fix was probably only a temporary fix in reality. Meanwhile, the city's infrastructure is under serious strain. Torrential rain in early 2025 triggered a state of emergency with streets flooded and officials scrambling to respond. Studies warn that Camboriú's drainage and sewer systems often can't keep up with the high volume of tourists, and the icing on the cake is the rising sea levels threatening the coastline. This whole area is really vulnerable to erosion and storm surges. This story, in a way, isn't just about Brazil, it's about the future of cities everywhere, because Camboriú is a case study in what happens when cities chase image over infrastructure and zoning codes aren't tightly monitored. The pattern isn't unique to Brazil either, by the way. You've seen it in London's empty middle, where luxury towers sit dark 90% of the year. Vancouver had a foreign buyer boom. There's New York's Billionaires Row, where condos are owned by Saudi princes and Russian oligarchs. Dubai's skyline is full of towers with names but no people. Camboriú takes it to the extreme though, because it is not a financial center. It is not a global hub. It's just a beach town. It's a beach town where developers found a loophole, money found a home, and the skyline grew faster than the city below could handle. I, for one, am definitely looking forward to seeing the Senna building come to fruition. It's going to be an awesome addition to the coastline and a really great tribute to Ayrton Senna. If you look at the beach now, this building will be the crown jewel of the region by far. There's not a whole lot of buildable land left either, so something tells me the Senna building might define the skyline for decades.